Ohmwrecker versus Delirious. It is still going on, and we have proof of it. Yes, this is true. Ohmwrecker and Delirious are in court, or more involved in the civil case than ever before, because there's actually stuff going on. Here we have a complaint from Ohmwrecker and his lawyers, pretty much kickstarting the entire thing, and going forward from here. So we actually have documents to read. What is Ohmwrecker's case against Delirious? More of a timeline on how things are going on, which that's near the end of the video, so stick around for the actual timeline of what's going on in the civil case and how far they are right now. And I have some other general thoughts I want to add to it, but first I have a disclaimer. A couple disclaimers. First off, and most importantly, don't go around harassing, doxing, sending death threats, bullying, name-calling, or insulting people online, because that's just a big waste of your time and the person you want to insult, dox, or send death threats to. It's not worth it. Just stop doing it. You can have an opinion, share your opinion in the comment sections below, but cut it out going to Twitter and saying, Ohmwrecker, you are a big poopy diaper baby, and I hope your toilet breaks when you sit on it next. That doesn't get anything done at all. So just please stop doing it. Second disclaimer, I am not a lawyer. I'm not giving out any legal advice in this video at all, and I'm not a guru when it comes to all of this stuff. I had to do some research to understand some of this, look up some definitions and everything, so I have a general knowledge, but if I get anything wrong in this video, I'm a 22-year-old from Iowa, and I don't know everything in the world, and I especially don't know a lot of stuff about law, but I think I know enough information to talk about this and break it down to you guys, so hopefully you guys understand when I'm trying to break this down what it all means. The vast majority of people should understand what I'm talking about in this, but in case I get anything wrong, I'm putting a disclaimer out there. Very well, I could get something wrong, but I don't believe I have anything wrong here. And thirdly, the last disclaimer, I got a lot of this information from Toy Bounty Hunters. I pretty much just screenshotted a lot of the documents he was showing in his video, and now I'm able to sit here and show you guys a lot of this information. And his live stream and his breakdown is completely available over on his channel. I have a link to his channel down in the description below. He plans on doing more live streams and more videos about it, so watch out for those, and I'll try to follow along as much as I can. Regardless though, let's get right into the video. First off, this is just basic information in the beginning of the document. One of these sections are called Nature of the Action, and it pretty much means it's a basic rundown of everything. The plaintiff is Ohmwrecker, the defendant is Delirious. This complaint document submitted by Ohmwrecker and his attorneys claims this is starting with diversity action that asserts Illinois state law, claiming false light, defamation, interference with prospective economic advantage, and the intentional infliction of emotional distress as a result of defendant's harassment and publication of defamatory statements. This one section has a lot of the reasons why Ohmwrecker's going after Delirious, and this is repeated a lot throughout the document, so I'm not going to keep repeating.
The false light, defamation, interference with prospective economic advantage, and the intentional infliction of emotional distress as a result of the defendant's harassment and publication of defamatory statements.
I'm not going to constantly keep reading those over and over again, but it's listed a lot in this document, so be mindful. When it says diversity action, it pretty much means that they're in different states, and Ohm being in Illinois and Delirious being in North Carolina results in diversity action. And all of those reasons that I had to repeat really fast.
The false light, defamation, interference with prospective economic advantage, and the intentional infliction of emotional distress as a result of the defendant's harassment and publication of defamatory statements.
It pretty much means Ohm is suing Delirious for defamatory statements. I think we all know what that means. Lying, emotional distress, when you make somebody really sad, and money loss. But it's a lot more complicated than me just plainly saying he lost a lot of money and got upset. It's a lot more complicated than that. But to break it down for somebody who doesn't know a lot, there you go, that's what it means. The second part of this document I want to point out is jurisdiction. It is titled Jurisdiction and Venue, which pretty much means what state and where the court proceedings will be held at. The controversy between the plaintiff and the defendant is exceeding $75,000. When it says this in the document, pretty much it's saying that Ohm would need to sue Delirious for at least the amount of $75,000 in order for it to be accepted in the first place. This is due to the United States Code that is listed here, saying that they are a part of different states, and this is the minimum amount you can do this for when tying into jurisdiction and them being from different states and you taking it to a court, a judge, blah, 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 and trying to have a civil case with somebody else. This case will also have personal jurisdiction of Ohmwrecker because that is where he resides and where he regularly transacts business. Also due to committed tortious acts with the state of Illinois, including all the reasons that I'm not going to keep repeating.
The false light, defamation, interference with prospective economic advantage, and the intentional infliction of emotional distress as a result of defendant's harassment, and publication of defamatory statements.
Jurisdiction might seem confusing, and it definitely was, but from what I've researched, overall it is a civil case and Ohm was the one who filed it, so it seems reasonable for it to be in Illinois. But a lot of these actions ended up happening online, so who really has jurisdiction here? Normally, when it's any sort of cybercrime or anything happening online, you would think that it's a federal law enforcement's job to do that, not no local law enforcement or a state's law enforcement to do that. It's more federal. Well, the only federal law enforcements that would really dive into this is Homeland Security and the FBI, and they're not really gonna hold a court proceeding for a civil case between the two people. And since Ohm is filing suit against Delirious, he's hoping to pull Delirious from his state of North Carolina over to Ohm's state of Illinois to have most of what's going on be there. Have a judge be from there. XYZ, XYZ, XYZ. Again, jurisdiction is really weird, but why does it matter where it happens? You know, a court is a court and they'll all be the same. Well, it could be radically different, and depending on where it is depending on the place that you have to travel, sometimes months and months apart, and I'll break that down over when I'm talking about the timeline and stuff. Some of these things are months and months apart. This whole thing between them has been going on for a long time. This is not new as of December 2022. It's been happening earlier this year as well. And having something in your own home state is usually the place you would want to deal with any of that stuff. You wouldn't want to travel miles and miles to deal with something like this. So personal jurisdiction certainly can play a big part on winning or losing a case. Every court and every jury is different as well. So yeah, those are kind of the main things about jurisdiction, either labeled in here and why it's important at all to talk about it. So far, it seems like Ohmwrecker, his venue, his jurisdiction, it's going to be wherever he is at, which I guess kind of makes sense since he resides there and he's the one kind of starting all of this. It's going to be in his court. Not technically his court. He doesn't really own a court, but it's going to be in a court that's in his state, a district court. Anyways, regardless, getting into the third part of this, it's pretty much just a factual breakdown, a factual background, pretty much breaking down all the important facts between Ohmwrecker and Delirious, and what somebody would have to know to pretty much know the case and blah 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 XYZ. Again, a lot of this was written up by Ohm and his attorneys. This is Ohm's claimant. This is what he's filing to sue Delirious, so obviously it's gonna have a lot of what him and his attorneys want to present. Does that mean they're always right and this is all true information? No, but a lot of this is actual factual information, and I will share some of it. This includes subscriber counts and follower counts. I mean, that's as factual as you probably can. Those are factual numbers. This is not Ohm and his attorneys lying. Similar fan bases, Ohm hearing about the allegations for the first time and how that happened, discovering more allegations, the alt accounts Delirious has made, Ohm's reputation being destroyed, the drama alert video and Ohm's participation in that, people's reaction to that, everything Delirious has publicly said online, on YouTube or Twitter or on Twitch, the Liz Katz video and everything she has said online and on Twitter, and a lot more than that. This section of the document is pretty much a giant breakdown, a giant timeline of everything going on between the drama of Ohm and H2O Delirious. There's not much more information I can tell you besides there is a lot of alleged stuff in this part, and they do a good part saying that it is to be believed that this is Delirious when we don't know that every single alt account is really Delirious. They know some are true based off of Liz Katz's video, they know some are true because of the Twitter suspension, but not every single alt account that went after Ohm was Delirious. But we don't really know that. More evidence and more proof needs to be submitted. They might need a subpoena for more information. There are reports that certain commentary channels and certain people who had DMs with Delirious and other people and the alt accounts are receiving a notification on Twitter that there are legal pretty much accessing those messages. And Twitter's giving you a notification saying, hey, there are legal involved in looking through certain of those messages, but you don't have to worry, just letting you know what's happening. This has kind of been talked around from a lot of the commentary community, kind of word of mouth, and yes, it is happening. People are trying to go through information. There's this one tweet where pretty much Ohm's attorneys are pretty much saying that you have messages and other documents with Delirious or his alt accounts or something like that, and she tagged me on Twitter and saying, hey, tell Ohm I do not do personal lawsuits, meaning this is a civil case between you and I'm not participating in this. And she tweeted at me as if I'm gonna tell Ohm that, but I think Ohm already knew, and I did send it over to him just to let him know. So yeah, Ohm's attorneys are actively looking for more information to prove that Delirious did do a lot of these things. Some of these things he actually did do, like the alt accounts and a lot of the nasty stuff he said online, but I'll get more into that later. But there are definitely real things that Delirious definitely did do that he probably should not have done towards Ohmwrecker that Ohmwrecker and his attorneys are highlighting in this filing. I'm not really going to sit here and go through everything, but you'll see screenshots of some stuff in there through the various of screenshots that I'm showing you that there are things that are true, but there's also those little taglines here saying that, oh, it is believed to be the defendant, Delirious, or whoever else. Regardless, if you go through all this factual stuff, you're going to get to a point where it says number 60. And this number 60 factual point or fact or whatever mentions me in the filing, meaning my name is being addressed amongst lawyers and judges and maybe a jury and all this other stuff, which is kind of weird to think about. But I already kind of knew about this. I was warned a while ago that I definitely might be brought up in conversation. A lot of Delirious and Ohm bickering in live chats happened on my channel, and I was directly involved in a lot of stuff after the whole allegations and stuff like that were coming out. I really got involved in this in May of 2021 after the Drama Alert video came on, and Ohmwrecker joined my channel to do a quick live stream interview where I interview Ohmwrecker, and the classic Wildcat joining the call and Ohmwrecker stumbling on his words or whatever, however people want to perceive it. Yeah, all that stuff happening. So I've kind of been involved in the online, you know, how are the receptions to this and talking about it in terms of a commentary standpoint. But it's kind of weird that I'm actually put in the document that Ohm's attorneys are going to go push. I'm sure maybe Delirious's attorneys are going to have to talk about me at some point too, especially if they're going to try to go through DMs of mine and Delirious's for whatever reason. If they're going to go after Ohm and his DMs with me or whatever reason, I don't know. There could be a lot of commentary channels that are pulled into this, but it's kind of weird to see my name there. Am I in any legal trouble? No. Regardless, let me read what the whole TJV point was, number 60, and it is saying, on November 8th, 2021, defendant publicly commented on YouTube user TJV's live stream stating, I want someone to go find Ohm's tape and ask Ohm about the police reports he received long ago for stalking. TJV has approximately 81,500 subscribers. Yeah, I don't want to talk about it. And the live stream video has approximately 17,700 views. Hey, at least that went up. That's cool. I actually have the whole live stream pulled up here. It's the Cy and Sarah Drama Again live stream that I had, and apparently Delirious deleted his comments in the live chat, what I just read off there. He deleted those comments in the live chat, but I have a public live feed that I always have, so if you comment something and delete it, it's still gonna pop up on the original video here. So I have a live chat replay that's just happening all the time when I live stream, so whatever you comment in my live chat, just know it's always gonna be there. And because it's always there, Ohm was able to send that to his attorneys and use that as, hey, yes, he is saying these awful things about me. He is trying to incite people to go look at stuff and find stuff on me, dirt on me, and try to defame me. So yeah, a very valid point to bring up of Ohm's attorneys. Regardless if you don't like Ohm or Delirious or care about this at all, you can acknowledge that they are trying to bring up actual factual stuff that's happening in all this, and they probably have a pretty good timeline of everything that's going on in this drama. Maybe more so than us commentary channels talking about it. The other points that I wanted to bring up is number 66/ number 67, saying the defendant's conduct, aka Delirious's conduct, has lost many sponsorships and collabs with streamers. And this is the part where it would play into money. Also, the whole defamation thing would kind of play into it too, because he's getting less views and less people going to watch his channel, and it's his entire brand is kind of tainted by this now, and Delirious Delirious certainly wasn't helping his brand when they were feuding online. But he's saying Delirious had direct contact with a said sponsor, and affecting whether or not Ohm has sponsorships or not. Plus, Ohm's not able to collab with other people. Yeah, Ohm doesn't really have collabs with streamers, and he says that Delirious is a lot at fault for it because a lot of people are siding with him and he's spreading lies and all this other stuff about me instead of being truthful and honest. And the whole argument here is that Delirious probably shouldn't have affected collabs with Ohm when Delirious probably is just talking to his friends. I don't think he's trying to hit up PewDiePie and Mr. Beast and say, hey, don't work with Ohmwrecker here. I don't think that Delirious was doing that. I don't think Delirious was trying to affect the collab. Maybe he was, but I don't think he's going around saying, hey, don't be cool with this person anymore, because I'm not cool with them. I just think that the entire situation, people usually look at Ohmwrecker in the bad light because of some of his decisions. It's not all because some YouTuber said they did a bad thing. Sometimes people just know, hey, I don't like what you did, and that's why people don't like what you did. But again, Ohm's attorneys are trying to bring up that Delirious had direct impact on the collaborations with other streamers he could have had a collaboration with. Maybe it's a lot of Delirious and his fan base stopped collaborations from happening, so when Ohm would collab with somebody, people would go after that streamer he collabed with and said, hey, don't stream with him, he's a bad person. And this is all to be blamed on Delirious, even though he's not taking the direct action, but he is sending his army to go do it, the Delirious army to go do it. I don't know. It's all really confusing, and I have no idea how they're going to break it down or what they're going to do, if Delirious had direct impact on infecting people, or if he sent a fan base to go do it, or if all of his actions led to something like that happening where nobody wants to collab with Ohm. But this is kind of where all the money loss stuff comes from, which, believe it or not, yes, Ohm is losing money, whether it's a lot of money or not, whether it's enough to really affect him or not. It's all kind of up to who knows, and we don't really know if Ohm's really ever going to talk about it, but Ohm has mentioned before to me and to other people that it has affected him financially. How much? We really don't know, and no matter what price point he puts out there, if he still says he's making a lot of money, but he's losing a lot of money, it's kind of hard for people to feel bad for him, especially if he's still making a lot of money. Regardless if he lost money or not, he's still making a lot of money. So I don't know. I know attorney fees and all these other fees for legal court stuff and civil cases can get real expensive, and I'm sure it is really expensive, but this is just something that they're gonna have to argue in court. And like I said before, they need a minimum of like $75,000 that he's going after him. Not $75,000. It has to exceed $75,000. And my best guess out of this whole thing is that very well Ohmwrecker could walk away with millions. Now, I was over at Toy Bounty Hunter stream. I guessed it could be anywhere up to $10 million. Now, I know that might seem ridiculous, but if you just think about it, emotional distress, how do you put a price point on that? How do you determine money on emotional distress? A bunch of sleepless nights and all this other stuff. And it's kind of even hard to say what Ohmwrecker would have been at right now if he never would have received all that backlash from Delirious and his fans. And most importantly, Delirious's actions and what that ended up affecting Ohm. It's kind of hard to say if it affected him at all, if it did, blah, blah, they're claiming it did. But how do you put a price point on that? It's kind of hard to say. I can see this going up into the like $10 million. Preceding $10 million? I don't know. Again, I don't know a lot of information about how these civil cases work, especially against two big gaming YouTubers, but I can see it being anywhere from $1 million to $10 million. I don't really seeing it be like a $400,000, $500,000 check, because that's kind of chump change to Delirious, and I would imagine the court would want an impact on him for doing some of these things if they really thought he was doing any wrongdoings online. So I don't know. I don't know where the price point could be. That's something to theorize down in the comments below. So the rest of the document kind of repeats a lot of information and kind of further explains what they mean by like false light and all this other stuff and what Ohm is suing Delirious for. So there's count 1, count 2, count 3, count 4, and count 5. Pretty much just explaining everything. We kind of already know what all of these are anyways though. I kind of explained the loss of money, emotional distress, the lying, the defamation, all the stuff. We kind of already know what it's what Ohm is suing Delirious for. My quick thoughts on Ohm's complaint that he filed. This was the first official complaint or whatever that was filed, apparently. Honestly, not that bad. He put together a lot of points. There is a lot in there saying that it is believed to be Delirious, and obviously they don't have all the evidence to prove, but they feel like it's enough to go to court and actually try to work this out in a courtroom. But at the same time, I don't know. It's all up to a single judge to decide whether or not this is enough to go off of or not, because you know Delirious is going to go back and say, hey, I motioned to have this entire thing dismissed. He doesn't want this thing to happen at all, and his attorneys will probably try to fight it. But is this enough to happen? It kind of looks like it is, and I have a timeline here breaking it down. So what are my thoughts? Yeah, I think the complaint, Ohm's complaint that he ended up putting out from Ohm and his attorneys, I think it's enough, because it is enough, and it's going forward. And apparently whatever he put in that complaint that I just broke down in front of you guys, a judge wants this to continue and believes there's reasonable ground to have a civil suit between them. So, from a docket report that I ended up finding, here's a lot of broken down information and a timeline of things going on. This whole complaint document that I was going through and all this information I was sharing you, this was submitted back on May 20th of 2022. Yes, clear back in May. There's a lot of stuff happening between May 20th of 2022 and now. On May 24th, Delirious was summoned, meaning pretty much Delirious is informed that he is being sued. On this exact same day, they ended up assigning a magistrate judge. On June 21st, Delirious filed for motion to dismiss the case for lack of jurisdiction. On July 13th, Ohm responded to that motion. And when I say Ohm and Delirious, it's also Ohm, Delirious, and their lawyers at the same time. On July 27th, Delirious responded to the response that Ohm had to his original motion. Delirious has also objected to the declaration of what Ohm ended up saying in the response. On August 19th, Delirious motioned for an extension of time to file. And yeah, we're only in August, and there's a lot more stuff that's going on until December, so I'm gonna skip through all the other months. Just know it's a lot of back and forth and filing documents and all this other stuff, and motioning for this, objecting to this, pushing for this, summoning for this. Well, it's a ton of stuff going back and forth for months. And I kind of actually left out some information because it's just downright boring. I just pointed out that they're communicating through a court of law, okay? That's all you need to know they've been doing since May. As of December 13th, which is like few days ago, right? Yeah, December 13th. Delirious proposed an order granting motion to dismiss the complaint of lack of personal jurisdiction and improper venue, or the transfer to the venue that Delirious is at in his own state. So this is something they could do because of personal jurisdiction. Hopefully they can have the entire trial, the entire case dismissed, but if not, hey, at least transfer it to our state, okay? So we don't have to always go to Illinois all the time. That's a long walk, okay? And we're tired of it. You know how hard it's to walk like thousands of miles with a hockey mask on? Delirious must be so miserable doing that. The next day, on December 14th, the court denies Delirious's motion. So it's gonna happen in Illinois. So yeah, that's what happened a few days ago. Pretty much denied that Delirious won't be able to have jurisdiction in North Carolina. It's gonna happen in Illinois, where Ohm is at, and Delirious will have to show up for that. And currently, that's where everything stands as far as I know. There might be other documents to go through, and if this is the case, I may do so, but in the event that I do, you should subscribe to the channel and like this video, but most importantly, what I really want you guys to do is to comment down below and let me know your opinions and help me out if I don't understand a lot of this law guru stuff, and maybe have some theories down below. I might do a live stream where I'm going through comments and maybe I'm talking to you guys live about it. But yeah, hopefully all this information was useful to you. If you have any questions you need to ask me, the link to my Discord is down in the description below. Join my Discord, and once you're in my Discord, you have access to DMing me, and you can ask me any question that you may have. So yeah, that's the video. Hopefully you guys enjoy. Anyways, thanks for watching the video, and I'll see you guys all later. Peace.